This is Wildcast.
Coach, you came into last season with a team on its low, very young team, and also that 25 consecutive tournament appearances came to an end. How are you able to turn around the team so quickly?
Well, a year ago it was probably not set up for success, and I knew that as well as our staff did when we came here. And I've answered the question a lot about the streak, and no one wants streaks to continue at Arizona more than me. But the reality of it is, it was going to come to an end, and it almost came to an end before I got here. And certainly last year we were up against it in so many different ways with experience and lack of familiarity between our staff and players, and really difficult non-conference schedule. So that can go on and on. We couldn't control that quite as easily. We, a year ago, played a lot of freshmen. Matter of fact, 5 of them played a key role in our team's success. We only lost one senior, Nick Wise. And we had a great off-season in terms of the spring, the summer, and the fall. And I think collectively we came into this year on a mission to be better. We worked very hard and still are working very hard because some of our best basketball is yet to come. But if you look at 20 wins right now and our current record in state here in mid-February, we've made a lot of progress, and I think you can really go from just total growth. There's something to be said about a coaching staff coming back for their second year, the same terminology, the same way of doing things. And we've had a lot of players individually in our program get better. Derek Williams is at the forefront of that.
Okay, and just to touch on that, how satisfied are you with the level of play that this team has done this season?
I'm satisfied in that, they can't take any of our 20 wins away, and the fact we're 20-4, I think we've played some very good basketball. We've had 3 or 4 games that could have gone either way, bounce our way, and I think that's important as we have the remaining 7 games left of our regular season, that we're going to be in some really tough games, whether it's ASU on the road or the 4 home games that we have left will all be tough. Going to LA, playing UCLA and SC has always been a difficult road swing for a Pac-10 team. So, for us, it's so much about focusing on the future, building on our success, not becoming complacent, continuing to work hard and understand that, like a lot of college teams, our room for error isn't great.
Okay, and what's this team's biggest weakness, and how can you overcome it this season?
We don't have great leadership. We're not like a battle-tested veteran team. Our leadership comes from a lot of different players. Jamel Horn's our only senior, Kyle Fogg, Brendan Lavender, and Alex Jacobson. Our juniors. Kyle's probably the biggest role of that group of guys right there. But a lot of our leadership comes from our sophomores, and as I go through each day and weeks and games, we're not a team that sometimes has a great maturity about them. I think we give great effort. Our intent's good, but you can't make up for experience in guys who've been through it. And I think a year from now, from an experience perspective and leadership perspective, we'll be a much better team in that regard. So, we have a lot of different weaknesses, but to me, one of the things that I hope we can get better at as our year grows and moving forward is just having older guys who've been through it and just really that experienced leadership on a daily basis.
Okay, and you've really had a lot of players that have stepped it up this season and turned it on when it mattered. I'm going to give you a scenario. You're down by a point, 10 seconds left, you have the ball. Who takes that final shot?
Well, Derek Williams, if we can help it and if we have the ball in his hands, we're confident that good things will happen. It might be a pass, it could be a foul on the other team, but we'd be foolish not to have him in a key role in that situation.
Okay, and earlier this season, Arizona struggled against playing ranked teams such as Kansas, BYU. When tournament play comes around, will they be able to keep up with teams like Ohio State, Texas, Kansas again?
I think so. We've improved a lot since that period of time, and those 2 examples are good examples, but also sometimes unfair, because when you look at Kansas, you can make the argument that they're the nation's best team, certainly a #1 seed. You look at BYU, they're probably one of the top 10 teams in America. We've also played both of those teams away from McKale. So I don't care who you are this year, you play Kansas away or on a neutral court in BYU in Salt Lake City, it's tough. You could play really well and not win those games. You know, I'm more focused on what we're doing in our conference, and you know, you look at our total non-conference season, the fact that we had 11 wins against a lot of good teams, maybe not great, but teams that have winning records, teams that are doing well in their own respective leagues. And I think in a few weeks, when you really look back on what we've done, I think we're all very proud of it.
Okay, and I want you to tell everybody, because there's such an elite amount of coaches that really last and make it with the team. How hard is it to be a successful coach in Division I college basketball?
Very hard. You know, I think the lifespan of a coach is much shorter now than ever before. You know, we get maybe more rewards than coaches who've coached in yesteryear or a decade or 2 decades ago. But with that's really come a lot more pressure. You know, college basketball is a year-round sport, both in recruiting and all the demands that really are on your time to build a program and do it the right way. So, you know, the length of time for me, I'm 42, I'm not going to be a guy who's coaching for a long, long time, and I think a lot of people in today's generation will take that way.
Okay, and I want to end this with one more question for you. Can the University of Arizona men's basketball team win a national title this year?
This year, we would have to have the stars line up. You know, I do think that we're good enough to be a part of the tournament. I don't take that for granted, especially like you had mentioned earlier, going from where we were maybe 2 Aprils ago to now as we approach March here in our second year. But I am confident in telling you that there'll come a day when I know we can win it.
Okay, that's great to hear. I want to thank you, Coach. I wish you the best of luck this season. And for UATV, I'm Mike Rabin.